practice, go. All right, Hans Stode here with my guy, Eimantas Stanionis. How you feeling today, brother?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm cool, man. I'm cool. Happy to have you back on, man. It's been a little while. So,
Thank you for having me.
yeah, of course, man. You know you're my guy. So, let's jump right into it, man. You was able to end your annoying 2-year layoff. Fighting Gabriel Maestro. I think that's how you say his name. How did you feel when you jumped in the ring? How did everything go for you in that fight? Obviously, you got the win, but how did you feel overall?
I felt good, just in the training wasn't like everything as a plan, Stuff happens, for the fighter. So I wasn't like 100%. Also, I didn't believe before, in the ring rust, but now I do. It was, completely different. But I was very happy, after 2 years that I got fight finally because, like I told before, I love boxing. I watch boxing from the outside, but I want to compete, and I was waiting, 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 waiting. Did nothing happen, and I just want to stay active. That's my main priority.
Well, I think a lot of us were under the assumption that you were gonna start getting a lot more active. Heard about rumors of you fighting a few other people. Is anything true right now? Do you see yourself jump back in the ring fairly soon? Or is it one of those situations where you're just like, man, listen, I don't know when the hell I'm getting back in there?
No, I am waiting, for the big announcement. I'm, hoping for it and just waiting. Yeah, I hope to have everybody to see me soon back in the ring.
I'm assuming you know who you're gonna be fighting next then.
Not yet, not fully.
Okay. Is it safe to say that you probably won't be on that Gervonta Davis undercard? Or is that
I
something you might be targeting?
I'm targeting that. Yeah, I'm hoping for that. So we'll see.
Gotcha. In terms of the welterweight division right now, man, a lot of people will say it's kind of lost a little bit of its luster. Crawford's not there, Spence isn't there. Porter retired a long time ago. Danny is gone. So a lot of those guys or Ugas isn't really like around like that. How do you kind of view the division? Do you kind of look at it and say, this is like officially my home? Like there's a lot of good fights to make here, or do you just say, I'm gonna stick around for a little while, but I probably want to move up to 154 pounds where there's a lot more smoke up there.
Yeah, that's the thing, we are like new generation, but we just need to fight, to prove who is the best. So that's what I'm here for. So also I can fight at 140, 147, 154. It doesn't matter, All three divisions. I'm just if I'll get, any opportunity, I'll jump it. Like I want to be like as a throwback fighter, when everybody fights like every 2, 3 months, always don't duck nobody, always in. You can rely on the guy, So I want to be that guy.
Let me get your thoughts on I'm pretty sure you heard about the whole Jaron Ennis thing and Virgil Ortiz possibly moving up to 154. He pretty much said, not gonna move up there right now, want to fully unified 147. Like, what were your thoughts on it? Do you kind of look at him as everybody else and say, he kind of dug to Virgil, or do you kind of look at it and say, nah, I understood where he was coming from?
Yeah, it's it's crazy. I don't want to be in his shoes, because like after the fight, he talked that he might go to 154, and for the right opponent, So Virgil, I think, was the right opponent. So I don't know what happened, Eddie also said they might go, to 154 for a big fight, but yeah, when they got offered, I don't know inside, but yeah, from outside looking, doesn't look good.
Do you kind of understand where the fans are coming from, where a lot of people are kind of quote unquote calling him a duck because he's always said that he wanted to go to 154 to fight Crawford. Now Virgil's right there for him. I believe he was going to get offered a career high payday, but instead he wants to stay at 147 and fight guys like yourself, fight guys like Barrios, fight guys like Brian Norman. Like, do you understand where fans are coming from, or are you on the other end where you're just like, no, he should try to stay at 147 and try to fully unify the division.
Yeah, so if he wants to stay at 147, I understand, but yeah, looking from the fans, I'm also understand him, So when he didn't took the fight, the people who could call us, I'll be jumping in. So nobody called us. Yeah, but if he wants to stay at 147, so he's supposed to fight other champions. So, and I see now, with Teofimo, they might fight, so I don't know what's going on. But if he's going to fight Teofimo, what that tells, that's not 147.
Make your case and kind of, if Ennis was looking at this video right now, which I'm sure he will be 100%, like make your case as to why you want that fight with him next. And he's, like you said, he's looking at guys like Brian Norman. He's also looking at probably fighting like a Teofimo Lopez. Why do you feel that you should be the next fight
I
Jaron?
think, I think the fans, all from US, everybody wants, that fight, me and Ennis, everybody's highly think about this fight, how it can go, and I can be his biggest test. So I think that's the truth. So I want that fight, he wants that fight, and also we might get it. We'll see.
I know you fight nothing like Karen Chukagian, the guy he just fought. But when you looked at that fight, and Jaron got hit a few more times than we're used to seeing, wasn't able to get the guy out of there. Like when you looked at that fight, did you just say, okay, I already knew Jaron was a great fighter, but he showed a lot of holes in his game, and I really want to expose that.
Yeah, when I supposed to fight him, in 2020, so I looked at and I saw holes. I think he sees the holes in my, in my style, everything. So it's boxing. You will get hit. It's how you overcome all these things. So he's a great fighter, like I said. All the respect, and I like his style, everything. But also, we all have two legs and two hands, so it's nothing. We just, we have to just fight, not talk, and prove in the ring.
100%. I know when I spoke to you before, outside of yourself, because you consider yourself the best guy at 147 pounds, when you looked at Jaron, you was just like, Jaron is probably the guy that's right next to you. Do you still
Yeah.
look at him like that, or do
Yeah.
you think he's
Yes. Yes.
still him?
Yeah. He's the one.
What did you think about Mario Barrios and his performance? Got that draw against Ramos. What did you think? Was that surprising for you?
Not surprisingly, it's like I knew Ramos. I knew from the when I was, climbing the rankings. I'm the biggest boxing fan, so I know everybody, So
Yeah.
yeah, it was tough fight. Sometimes, some things can happen. You can be overtrained or undertrained, or some other stuff, or just a bad night in the office. We all get at some point that, you can't be always be 100%. Something can happen, and they're like, it's like saying the styles make fights. Maybe it wasn't the best style for Mario Barrios. I don't know.
But do you look at Barrios and kind of say, with all due respect to him, do you look at him out of all the champions and say, he's the weak link? Like he has a belt, yeah, but he's the guy where it's just like, yeah, if I fight him, I'm gonna run through him.
Of course, I always think about that about all the opponents. I have to be confident because I'm going into the ring. So yeah, yeah. Even against any other champions, I will think that way. Because I'm all for it. So yeah, I don't know Mario Barrios, and I was thinking, honestly, like maybe Abel Ramos at that fight, maybe pull out or something can happen. I'll I'll jump in, if they call me. So yeah, but it didn't happen. So I wasn't so happy.
Why are you so willing to jump in on short notice to fight a guy like Jaron, fight a guy like Mario, fight any of the champions on short notice? Like, why are you so willing to just, not even get a full training camp? Let me just get the call right now. I'll do it.
Yeah, I need to earn my like name, I'm the champion, but like everything is about the name. So I want to fight, I want to prove, and get fans on my side. That's the thing, and I always training, always in shape. I don't need to cut like, like 40 pounds or something. So that's I think why.
Mm. I remember on your social media not too long ago, maybe a few months ago, you were talking about, I mean, well, Eddie Hearn was talking about, he had sent you like an offer,
Yeah,
and then you said two things. You was just at first you was just like, you didn't receive an offer, and then on the other end, you was just like the offer was really too low.
yeah.
From that point on, has there been any sort of communication? Like Eddie maybe shoot you a text, a DM, reach out to people that you know? Has there been any more communication since then?
No, nothing like before, it was funny because it's like I think time different zone, So when I saw, I said I didn't get any offers, and when I, speak with my team, they said nobody bring the offer because it was very low and it wasn't like official contract. It was
Hmm.
just like a phone call or something or a text, I don't know.
Got it. Does it annoy you that you don't really get mentioned as much when it comes to, these unification fights? Jaron is probably the biggest name at 147. Brian Norman is, building his name up. Barrios is always gonna have a name because he fought Keith Thurman, he fought Tank. Like, does it
Yeah,
annoy you that you're just like, I'm better than all of these guys and nobody's mentioning my name?
yeah, high risk, low reward. That's the
Mm,
thing.
yeah, for sure. 100%. If you was to be able to talk to Eddie, what can you, in terms of like an offer? I know you can't really talk numbers. That's really more so with your team and things like that. But when you did get the offer, how insulting was it? Because, with the whole Brian Norman trying to fight um Jaron Ennis, I believe Norman's team wanted somewhere about 2.2 million, something like that. Is that more or less like the ballpark where you're trying to get to for that type of fight? Or is it, you're more willing to take a lower number just to get that fight? You don't have to tell me an exact figure, but maybe like a ballpark where it's like, if you give me a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, something like that to make the fight happen.
Yeah, but if he's going to come with like very low offer, it doesn't make sense. It's like let's say somebody offers some like low money, and then you say no, it's bullshit, and then they say you're ducking the fight, so it doesn't make sense. But 2.2, I think it's high. So I don't know. Of course, my team has to, shoot for the highest. So I don't know where they will land because I thought like everybody needs money, and the highest, but also it has to make sense for everybody, I understand it's business, so I'm not going to ask for stupid money, but we can come to negotiations, I'm all for it. I'm just all for it to make a fight, it's like the money will come, you just need fight, build your name, and that's it.
Is it surprising to you, at least somewhat, that you haven't been able to lock in a fight with a guy like Mario Barrios? A guy like Ennis, makes sense because Matchroom, Brian Norman, top rank,
Yeah,
whatever. But is it a little bit surprising, like, dude, like we're on the same side of the street. Like, you know
of
me, I know
course.
you, we got the same number. Like, why can't we fight?
Yeah, we fought on the same card, and when he got I saw the fight with Abel Ramos. I was like, oh my God, why not me? Why didn't you choose me? I don't understand. It makes sense, like you said, on the same street, under PBC, we are both. So, I wanted that after the fight. I said I want, fight for other title because I know he's in the same company as me. So I don't know what happened. I can't control these things, that's the annoying part.
Since you can't control it, does it make you, and I know you're happy to be a champion, you walk around with that belt all day, you probably take it in the shower with you sleep with it. Like I know
Yeah.
you're happy to be a champion, but you did mention to me earlier that, you're willing to drop to 140 pounds. I don't personally believe it because you're not really a small guy. Like I've seen you. You're not a small guy, so I don't know what you're talking about. But does a part of you just kind of say like, like I'm willing to forget about just dropping to 140 pounds. Like I'm willing to also drop my title if it's gonna help me land other fights with like Jaron, maybe Barrios. Kind of because if you was to drop your belt, you'd probably be ranked higher in other sanctioning bodies. You probably wouldn't have to deal with certain mandatories. Do you look at it from that standpoint, or do you think no, holding on to your belt is gonna be the biggest bargaining chip in your corner?
No, being a champion is, the big thing. Everybody wants to win a belt and everybody wants to call themselves a champion. When you have a big name like Ryan Garcia, then you don't need the belts. But still, it's like when you have a belt, it's different feeling. So no, I wouldn't drop, the belt. So if let's say if the fight I think comes at 140 or 154, and I go there and fight, if the WB allowed me, without losing the belt, so I would do that. But if it's coming to lose the belt, you need to consider.
is a fight against a guy like Teofimo Lopez. And I know you're saying it doesn't really do anything for a guy like Jaron, but Tio can fight his ass off. He's a
Yeah.
he's a smaller guy for sure, but he could fight his ass off. Um, do you look at that fight and you're just like, yeah, Jaron, that's a little bit too much weight for Tio. Or, Tio's upset the odds when he fought Loma. He's upset the odds when he fought Josh Taylor. Do you look at him and say, yeah, I'm not betting against him, even against Jaron? I'm not betting against that dude.
No, he's a good fighter, like you said. So I'm not saying that Jaron will wipe him out, or other weight. So I don't know. Honestly, it's a good fight, But like you said, like if Ennis wants to be at 147, he said that, and he wants to unify. And now if he chooses, to go that route, so I don't know. Then it's why he didn't go to 154. Then it's strange.
What's stopping you exactly from being more active? We'll see it a lot with like, hate to say it, but kind of with like PBC guys when they get to like a certain level. They kind of only fight like once a year, maybe twice a year. Even though I think that's the case a lot of times in like, when you get to like a higher level, no matter the promotional company. But in your particular case, like what's stopping you from being more active? Obviously, you were sick, you dealt with the Virgil thing, but even then, like you've still been pretty inactive. Like what's just stopping you from getting just more and more fights, man?
Yeah, so that's the thing. I was thinking I'll fight Mario Barrios, for unification. So that didn't happen. And then I got my mandatory, so they were dealing with my mandatory, and now they are still dealing. So I don't know. I think that's why, because when you have to reach agreement, it takes time. The mandatory, then they extend, and it's like waiting game. I think
What
that's the reason.
was there any actual talks about you fighting Mario Barrios, or was it just hopes for the most part?
On my part was hopes and ask. I was asking for that fight. After the fight, straight away they said I want to fight for that belt.
Hmm.
So yeah. So I was asking and also hoping.
Let me get your thoughts on a guy that used to run 147 pounds and Terence Crawford. He's doing this thing at 154 pounds now. He just won the WBA title. What are your thoughts on him and how do you think he looked at 154 pounds making his debut a few months ago?
He looked good. It's the thing when the people don't know the other opponent, and he didn't have like a lot of fights. He in professional, but he has like a big amateur background, and he's from Uzbekistan. Not everybody speaks English, so his name wasn't big. So everybody thinks if the name is not big, Crawford should wipe him out. But
Mhm.
realistically, in the boxing, who knows in the industry, it was a hard fight, and I knew it from the beginning. I said like it's like I don't know, I'm leaning towards Crawford, but it's like 50-50, 55-45. I
Hmm.
knew it's going to be a tough fight. So, but I was thinking also Madrimo didn't have like experience, with when all the lights under you on the big show, your main event, or so yeah.
Is that something that you think about, like in your own personal career? Like, obviously, you can fight your ass off. You want a belt when you had like what, 11 fights or something like that. But
Yeah.
you don't have like a ton of fights. Like you don't have that much experience under like the bright lights and being like the main event and stuff like that. Like, do you kind of think about that in the back of your head? Because eventually you're gonna land one of these big fights. You're gonna be in the main event. Do you think that moment will kind of hit you where you just like, damn, I really probably should have took a little bit more time before it getting to this level.
I hope no, because I got experience from 2 year layoff and I had a fight, so it was like a strange feeling. And I got this, and I don't think this will happen. I just hope so not.
Real quick, let me get your thoughts on Spence is a guy that if I'm not mistaken, when Spence was at 147 pounds, when I used to talk to you, he was the guy that you called out the most.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
really wanted to fight. I don't know if you don't like the guy or if he had two belts or three belts, and that's the reason why you wanted to fight him. But he was the guy who you called out a lot. It seems like he is gonna finally fight Sebastian Fundora sometime next year, early next year. Do you think that's a fight that favors him, or are you just like, nah, man, it's nah. That's not gonna end well for Spence.
I think it's it's hard because he haven't been active for a long time. And how old is he now?
33, I believe.
33. No, I
33 or
think
34. I think he's
okay,
34.
I think 34 maybe, yeah.
Mhm.
So 2 year inactivity. I think 2 year, yeah, or more.
Yeah. About one and a half. 2023 in July. That's what he last fought.
Yeah, yeah. So it's long time, but you know, it's boxing. You always, you can always risk, and if shit happens. So, Spence is a good fighter. Yeah, I wanted to fight him, I wasn't almost close in that situation, with Ugas. I was thinking I'll beat Ugas, I get my title, and then I can fight, with Spence, but yeah, it didn't happen. So with the Crawford also, I was like, I was favoring Spence, but it's like boxing, you never know. It's like crazy.
For sure. Um, do you expect, or let me ask you this, have you had any type of discussions, any type of rumblings, even just a high and by type situation with Turkey Alalshikh? He's working with everybody from every different promotional company. Like, have you and your team spoke to him a little bit about possibly, getting on one of his cards or anything like that?
I think they spoke with maybe a little bit, nothing like serious. So yeah, maybe he can give my team a call. I don't
Do
know
you
if he wants, somebody. If somebody pulls out, call me.
is he the guy where you think he can actually lead you to the places where you want to be? Because like I said, he's working with everybody, he's giving people boatloads of money, and there's no such thing as like this side of the street or anything like that.
Yeah, but also, looking from the outside, he's making only big fights, like other fighters, they don't get involved in these shows. Not they do, but not, like often. Like
Mhm.
let's say somebody is building a fighter, it's like I haven't seen. Maybe it's not true, but I don't know. But they're doing like amazing things, all the promotion, everything is good looking from the outside. Yeah, of course I would love to fight on that, but I'm with PBC, so I'm just waiting what's going on, what's happening, I'm just staying ready and waiting for announcement.
Just a handful of questions left for you. If you can't get Brian Norman, if you can't get Boots, if you can't get Barrios, you're most likely your next fight is probably going to be against like your mandatory. But if
Yeah.
you can't get any of those three champions, is there a guy at 147 pounds where you just like, you know what? If I can fight this dude, I'll be happy. I got a name in my head, but I want to hear what you
Oh,
say.
Conor Benn.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna
Yeah,
say
Conor
that.
Benn. He's cleared now, I guess. So yeah, of course,
What do
of
you think?
course.
What do you think about him overall as a fighter, man?
He's a good fighter, but when you get caught, it doesn't look good, for the rest of your life. I'm
Yeah.
against these things, it's like I'm very, even when I'm in training camp and we get tested, I'm very happy when, WADA comes. I'm just like, oh, okay. I hope they are testing me and my opponent, just yeah, so yeah,
Do
he's a
you
good fighter, it's like he has a name, big name, he talks a lot, but yeah, we'll see what he's going to do. Maybe he's fighting Crystal Bank, and I hope he doesn't fight Mario Barrios because I supposed to fight Mario Barrios. So.
do you look at Conor Benn as like the next best contender at 147 pounds? Like the next best fighter who doesn't have a belt at 147?
I don't think so. He has a name, but I don't know what he didn't prove nothing at 147. He
Mm,
got caught and he fought 154, maybe I don't know, twice or something.
mm.
But yeah, he's not like a bad fighter. He's a good fighter, but he didn't prove nothing at 147. He needs to fight at 147 with some legit guys.
Gotcha. Just two more questions for you. I was just recently at the Javante David press conference for like Lamont Roach, and Javante was saying he said something pretty surprising when he was just like 2025, I want it to be my last year. Me personally, I don't believe him, but what do I know? Like, do you actually think he is serious about possibly retiring in 2025? Like, what do you think about that?
It's hard to say. When he was talking about some mental stuff, I know
Mhm.
we boxers get through these things, So I got through this when I got 2 year layoff, and I was thinking, what's going on? Why I can't fight? The fight doesn't happen, and still I'm like now thinking, what's going on? I just want to fight. So when I'm in training camp, I'm a happy person. When I'm not, I'm just lost, every single day. What's going on? Just like I want to do my job, but I can't. So that's the issue. So I hope no. Answering your question, I hope no. So yeah, he brings excitement, he's a great fighter, and everybody watches, but if he has some issues, and health is the most important thing.
Is that something that kind of crossed your mind? Because like I
Uh,
mean, you was on the shelf for like a little over 2 years, man. Like, did that cross your mind? Like, yo, forget this shit, man. Like, I'm
yeah,
good.
sometimes before you go to sleep, you think I'm done. Like I don't know. Sometimes it feels like I'm a retired fighter. I'm just waiting, waiting, waiting. Nothing happens. So yeah, sometimes before you go to sleep, I tell my wife said, I'm done with this. And then next day she said, no, you're not done. You're going to the gym. And yeah, I'm just, waking up, and yeah, everything will be fine. The next day, after a week, same thoughts comes, and it's over again.
How, speaking about your wife, just real quick to touch on that, how important has she been to you in like this entire situation? Like, you got media you can talk to, friends, family, but like, your wife, you see her every day, So like, how important has she been to like this whole situation you've been going through, man?
Yeah, now every day, but when I'm in training camp, I basically start my camp alone, in US, because we fly to US, we live in Lithuania. Then, she comes like before my fight, like week or two, she supports me. We go for a walk so all the time, because I'm cutting weight, and I need sometimes do extra work. So counting steps together, it's funny, yeah. And she takes care of all the stuff like media, the where I need to go, what I need to do, what doctors I need to go visit, so she takes care of all these things. So yeah, we started, when I came to US like in 2017. She came with me, so we were thinking we were going to live there, but then she had to study, so she went back home. So we were like for 3 months, separated. I was in US, she was in Lithuania. Then we see each other for like 2 weeks. Then again, I'm going for 3 month training camp. Then she comes. It was like a hard time, but we got through it, and now we are, together.
Love to hear it, man. Two questions. Usually when I ask you for a prediction, you're pretty spot on, man.
No, hey, with Spence and Crawford, I wasn't.
Oh no, that one you did
That's
really friggin' bad. With that one you did really friggin' bad.
Oh my God. I said I might, if I need to like say I would bet my house on Spence, after that I said no more betting, like honestly, I'm very bad at this.
Other than that one, wanted to just get your thoughts on two fights. One that's coming up not too soon, one that is coming up real soon. But we have David Benavidez versus David Morrell. What do you think about that fight? Who are you leaning toward in that one, man?
On that one I'm leaning to Benavides. I like
You
the
ain't,
guy,
you ain't even
he,
you ain't even think about it or nothing, man.
yeah, no. No, David Benavides for me. He's like he's really animal, So I like his style, how he trains. He's very confident, and yeah, I think he's going to win.
Think he ended up stopping him?
I think yes.
Now I gotta ask you for the fight this weekend. We got Usyk, we got Fury part two. I know you're gonna be watching. So
Yeah, for sure. It's on my time zone.
I know, right? Lucky I gotta stay up all time tonight for that stuff. But who do you think is gonna win that one? Usyk won the first one, obviously. So who do you think is gonna win the second one?
I think UC will win. Yeah, I think so. Of course, I don't know. From that fight, like people say, they took from each other, something. So maybe, maybe, but no, I think UC has such a big amateur background. He wiped cruiserweights and heavyweights. So it's only the difference is the size. With the skills UC has, it's tremendous skills.
Do you think he ended up stopping Fury this time around?
He was almost last time.
Yeah,
So that's why I love boxing. You never know. Like I say, it's like I don't want to bet, like Benavides also Morel. Yeah, I'm saying Benavides, but you never know.
for
That's
sure.
the beauty of the sport.
100%. I know you say, and just to wrap it up, I know you say you never know with the sport, but were you targeting like a March date, which I hope so, because I'll be in the building. So, I get to watch you fight
Okay.
live. So I hope you end up being on that card. But in an ideal world for you, your 2025 would, like, how would that look to you? Not only the amount of fights, but the fighters that you're actually taking on. Realistically, what do you think it'll look like in 25?
Realistically, 2025. Smash everybody and get all the belts. That's it.
Yeah,
That
I,
will be perfect scenario, you know? It's like God willing, God willing.
that's a fact, man. Love talking to you, man. Appreciate you taking out the time, man. And hopefully we'll talk again soon. If we don't talk before the end of the year, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all of that good stuff, man. Appreciate you.
Oh, thank you, Hans. Thank you for having me. Same to you.
My guy, have a good one, man.
Bye bye.